All right. It looks like we are live. Okay. So, Facebook, how's it going today? I'm doing, haven't done this in a long time, but we're going live to record one of our podcast episodes for Be Battle Ready, a business focused podcast of talking about how can we make businesses more battle ready so what I call going to war in the marketplace and win. And I have an awesome guest. We're going to have to drop some of his videos in the comments because pretty talented dude. Of course, he's Italian. We kind of have that connection. So, but I want to welcome today Matt Giovanisci onto the podcast, and I'm going to let him introduce himself so that he can do the best justice for him because I'm not that guy. So I'll ask you some questions, but
Yeah, forget about it. It's fine.
Forget about it. Hey,
forget about it. Hey, as two Italian boys doing a Facebook Live, what could go wrong?
Hey, not much. Just this and that.
Oh boy,
I feel like I'm back in my we're in Thanksgiving, Christmas time in my grandma's den.
Yeah,
they don't know about growing up in an Italian family, right?
They don't.
If you want to bust some balls, we bust some balls.
Right? We bust balls. I was just home busting balls. I was just back in Philly busting balls and eating gabardines or cavatelli or mozzarella. I don't know. I'm half Italian. Just it's half.
I'm a quarter, so. But I'm, we're Sicilian, so it's like we're kind of a throwaway. Yeah. So.
Same. Yeah.
But yeah. Well, welcome, man. I appreciate it. We're going to focus a lot of bit on marketing.
Yeah.
You have some awesome, number of different things going on, but let's just jump into it. Introduce yourself.
Sure. My name is Matt Giovanisci. I'm half Italian. Some call me a serial entrepreneur. I just call myself a business owner. Happens to be online.
Must be an Italian thing.
Yeah, it must be. Yeah, entrepreneur is too French. I have a site called moneylab.co where I talk about all my business experiments and my challenges that I do to make more money online. And I kind of just, I'm not a guinea pig in that. I know people like to say that. I am just a dude who builds websites and other things. And I kind of put everything out there to show you how I do it and then broadcast the results when they're done. Kind of like I start with a hypothesis and then I end with, did this work or not? Yes or no. And I try not to be educational. I try not to teach anybody or be, I try not to, give advice. I just kind of showcase what I do. And so that's moneylab.co. There's a podcast as well where I just have conversations similar to this one about business. I talk to my friends about how they do business, how I do business on the internet specifically. And yeah, it's a super casual conversation there. And currently I am working on so most of my businesses that I have, so Money Lab is just really just like a, what do I call it? It's just kind of like a live blog on what I actually do for a living, which is I run a site called swimuniversity.com where I teach people how to take care of their pools and hot tubs. I make most of my income through affiliate marketing and product sales, info product sales at that website. And I've had that for 10 plus years. And then I parlayed that into some other affiliate marketing sites such as roastycoffee.com, which I recently sold, and brewcabin.com, which is a site about home brewing. And yeah, so then I kind of document and talk about all of those things over at moneylab.co. And I built a software product called getlasso.co. So it's just called Lasso, where I manage all of these affiliate links in one place using WordPress. So
okay,
that's kind of, I think that's it in a nutshell. There's a lot of things. Yeah.
Yeah. And, they were sent over some, a video.
Mm-hmm.
You have this video explain this video that you sent. It was pretty interesting.
So there's a couple of them. I believe the one that you saw was the podcast wrap, so that one, because I'm just remembering the links that we sent over. So I kind of for a while I did a series of rap videos in all different industries. In fact, I'm a musician first and foremost. It's kind of what I was born doing. And I tried to be in a band. I tried to be a rock star. I tried to get signed for a long time. And that clearly fell through. So I'm not on a tour bus right now. And
hey, it lasted longer than what my buddy invited me to. He's like, hey, come play bass for us. And here's the bass. And I played with him for like a day. And they're like, we're just kidding.
Yeah.
No.
Not you. Yeah,
No.
So I was a lead singer, guitar player. We did original music, and we again tried to be signed and tried to get signed. And at that time, we needed a website. This is before MySpace, so there was like no social media really at the time, and we needed a website. And I decided that we couldn't. Well, I didn't decide. We literally couldn't afford a website designer. I didn't really know much about computers at the time, but I decided to learn HTML and CSS and build my own website, which got me a job at a website. I was in the pool industry since I was 13. And like during that time, I was trying to get signed as a musician. And I went and learned HTML and CSS to design a website. And I ended up getting poached to work at a website design firm. And then I kind of came back and forth from the pool company over to website design. And I eventually just ended up parlaying this website design thing into a career. And I made like a legit living at that, meaning I had a day job designing websites and doing marketing for this local pool company. And I ended up, marrying those two things together. I married the idea that I know how to take care of a swimming pool with the fact that I can design a website now. So that's the birth of Swim University back in 2004, something like that. And so I've been, so the point of that story is I also have this music career. And so, later in my, when I was building Swim University, I'm like, I need to get some traffic. I need to get some buzz built about Swim University. And so I decided to marry another love of mine, which is music. And I'm not really a rap person. I don't really like rap that much. I'm like, there's very few rap artists that I really listen to. But I've always enjoyed making rap music. And so I decided to like write a beat, write a rap song about taking care of a pool. And I filmed a video, and that sort of went viral in the pool community, in the pool industry, which at the time I'm like, I just wanted people to know about Swim University. But what it really did was, because it was a YouTube video, a lot of these pool companies were embedding my video on their websites and giving me credit in the form of backlinks. So I ended up building a lot of relevant black backlinks from all of these pool companies. And so I was like, oh shit, I'm going to, oh, by the way, can I curse?
Yeah, man. We're Italian, right? That's part of the second language, right?
Yeah, it'll get bad if you let me.
You get kicked out of the den,
Yeah, I will try to censor myself as much as possible. But so I basically did this rap video and got a bunch of backlinks. And so I was like, oh, I'm going to use this to my advantage. And so every single project from there on out that I could film a rap video about, I did. And one of them was, I've done a couple podcasting rap songs, only one video. And they've all, some of them have been duds and some of them have done really well. And so the podcast one did really well. I did a song called #Hustle, which was a sort of a tongue-in-cheek rap song about this online marketing space. And that's kind of where my career ended. But after the podcast rap, I was like, all right, I think I've peaked.
Nice.
Yeah.
Hey, that's awesome. It's always, great to have those little wins or big wins.
For sure.
Is there any way that you can see revert? Was it just a stumble upon thing, or is it something that you could go back and say, well, besides rap, like what else could you creatively back into?
So I actually have I used to spread this philosophy, this word around a lot, which was passion mashing. And the idea that like, okay, I have a website. It's just a basic ass website. It's a site about pool care, right? we're talking about a really boring subject, and the question is like, how do I use my unique skill set or just things that I'm interested in my personal life to sort of carve out this like USP, right? This like unique service provider. That's not right. What is that called?
Position.
Thank you. I don't. Yeah, I'm a marketer, right? So this idea that you could marry two different things together and create something completely unique. And I thought when I did the pool rat video, I had a lot of friends who just said like, this is you. This video just encompasses you in a nutshell, which is like, you know about pools, you do this rap thing, you're willing to do this weird. Who would ever do that? Why would you do that? And so I've done that a few times. Like I know on Swim University, we try really hard to incorporate a lot of humor, which is something I'm interested in comedy and comedy writing. And so it's just something that I think, okay, well, what if a pool website was funny? Or what if, the videos were not just a guy, like a pool boy? Like, what if it's something different? And so, and it's like, and the reason why I spread that message is like, well, it's so easy for you to just be like, well, I do X. Like I'm already doing something. I'm already like interested in video, right? I'm already somebody who's done that for his whole life as something you do with no money involved in it. Just I like making videos. And so I'm like, why don't I just like marry these things together and maybe something comes out of it? Maybe it doesn't, but at least if I do it, I'll have fun and perhaps I can make it sustainable in the future.
Yeah. And do you help anybody out with this? Like passion mashing?
I do. I mean, no, because I don't really, I don't consult if that's the question, but I don't like look at what other people are doing and say like, oh, it would be good. I know you're really good at snowboarding. So like, if you just married snowboarding and coffee, which I've done once, like that's going to work. It's just, I think it's just interesting to incorporate something that you're good at into something that would make you money. And doesn't mean that I'm not suggesting that you turn your passion into a business. I don't recommend that ever. I recommend taking something that you're passionate about and somehow marrying that with a way to make money. And I think it's a little bit more sustainable as a person. And it makes it easy. And you can have fun with it. And it's just like easy marketing too, because it's unique.
Yeah. I get it. I mean, I think sometimes if your goal, your passion is drinking beer for a living, I mean, it's pretty, you're going to be pretty far away, but yeah, I mean, anytime you can blend those things. I ran the gym myself for 8 years, so it was a passion and it was a successful business. So
yeah, we've done that too. Like that exact example is, drinking beer is my passion, and I am a home brewer. It's like I hate the fact that I love it so much because it is damaging to me, but it's like I love it. It's just I love it so much, and so like I've ended up incorporating that aspect of my life into a podcast that I run, which is called Listen Money Matters. Every single episode, we drink beer at the beginning of the episode, and it's sort of an icebreaker for the two of us and for our guests. And that wasn't a moment where I was like, oh, I'm going to marry these two things together. It just kind of happened naturally because we were doing it. And now it has become part of the show, and people send us beer in the mail to drink on the show. So it's like, I'm getting free beer from doing this. So it's kind of like, and it makes us unique. In fact, there's so many copycats now who've done shows that now they kind of like forcefully drink at the beginning of the show, because I believe that not that we're the first two people to drink on a podcast, but we definitely made it a part of the intro in a personal finance podcast, which doesn't really fit. It's like if Dave Ramsey's like, what are you drinking today, man? It's like, all right, well, that's weird.
Yeah.
That's
awesome.
Yeah.
What's your beer?
I
had this random, I was so anti, because I get really anti like the mainstream stuff. So like how hot and awesome IPAs are. And I just can't take them. I'm like pure wheat beers. And I was like, I'm going to start something where we can't drink IPAs. So
right.
Wheat beers.
So IPA is definitely probably my favorite beer. Has been for a long time. The new style of New England IPAs or juicy, hazy IPAs, whatever you want to call them, I'm just kind of obsessed with them as a lot of people are in the industry. And I would say other than that, I really like beer flavored beer. I like Kolsch's. I like Pilsners. I like, lagers, just, stuff that tastes like beer, but isn't made by the big companies, the InBevs of the world,
Yeah. Awesome.
Still craft.
So with your content, like you're this big content focus, and we can dive into importance and especially if people are like I don't see why you'd be on the fence today on content marketing, but where did you get introduced to content marketing? Like, I know where I first was like, oh, I'll tell you about that, but where did you get introduced?
Honestly, I don't know the answer to that question. It was so long ago. Oh my God, that's a great question, because I remember just having this moment of I'm going to build a website, and I'm going to teach people how to take care of a pool through articles. And that was it. That was pretty much.
What year was that?
2004, maybe 2003
wow.
even. Yeah. And I was like, at the time there were blogs, that was a thing, and websites were a thing, obviously. But that was, and affiliate marketing was a thing then too. And I remember going that's how I'm going to start making money. I'm going to start by recommending products through my educational articles. And I'm also going to try to sell advertising. That was it. And I didn't, at the time, I wasn't really looking up to I wasn't a real website I wasn't an internet. I didn't have a computer until 2001, for a personal computer, meaning like my own computer. Like we had a family computer, played video games and shit on it. But I didn't have my own computer until like I went to college. And what's funny about that is like I failed every English class I ever took in high school except creative writing. And then I went to college for 2 weeks twice. So the first 2 weeks I went, the first semester, I got in a fight with our English teacher because she gave me an F on a paper that I wrote because I was trying to be funny, and she didn't appreciate my humor. So she gave me an F. And so I dropped out because I was all bummed out. Like, this sucks. Why am I doing this? I have a job. I'm making money. Like, what do I need this for? And I've been bad at writing for a long time. And yet here I am trying to make money and start a business where the sole thing I have to do is write. And I absolutely hate it. And I've never been good at it. So why I chose it, I think it was less about just being I think nowadays people sort of envy the content creator or like the YouTuber, they call them creators. And I think people envy that, like, oh, I want to be a content creator. And at the time I'm like, no, I just want a fucking business. I want a business that makes money on the internet, so I don't have to go into a job anymore, and I don't have a boss anymore. It wasn't about, I had no pie in the sky dreams of being like a entertaining content creator, even though like I was in a band and that's what I wanted to do there. And so once the website got off the ground and I was really trudging through writing, I hate it. I mean, you write about pool algae and tell me how you feel at the end of the day. So yeah, it's not a glorious job, but I tried to make the most of it by being as entertaining as possible and using those skill sets and making rap videos and like my first video that I did for Swim University was completely scripted. It's a 20-minute TV show that I scripted completely. And I was like, and that was obviously unsustainable at the time with just me and a video camera. But I was trying to be that later down the road. But in the beginning, I just wanted a business. I just wanted something that would make money passively. And I didn't really look up to anybody at the time until I decided that I wanted that. And then I went seeking, people that I could learn from on the internet.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, 2004, I think back to what I was doing in 2004. I mean, you're probably, when did you graduate high school?
2001. Yeah.
Okay. So I graduated in 99. And I think that after my senior year, I got my first computer. Yeah. I remember just having music on it, and that was it. And I was like, AOL and all this other stuff. I had no idea, it was, okay, I got to go to college, and, I'm playing either football or rugby at the time. Like, and I'm like, I had no clue about that until I got into my, starting this gym out of my garage, and then I was in this networking group, and this guy, realtor's like, "Hey, I want to come interview you on camera." And I was like, "Why? Like, why do you want to interview me?" And he basically read Crush It at that time.
Right.
And all that. And I was like, "Oh, this is a thing." Like, so
Yeah.
that was like my first introduction, but that was like 2009. Like,
Yeah.
I mean,
That's about when it that's when it started picking up steam for sure. Because like when Gary Vee really hit the scene and was starting to transition from doing his wine library TV, to actually educating people on content creation, that's when things really started picking up steam. And I think that that's really when I was able to focus, like, because I had it for a while and I was just doing it on the side because, again, I was working at a pool company and then coming home and having to work on my internet pool company. So it's just like recipe for burnout. And yeah, it wasn't until like 2009, 2010 when like I was really doubling down because there was so much more information out there, and that's when I went full time with it too. So it was just like, yeah, let's make this a thing.
okay.
It had legs for sure.
Well, cool. So, I mean, it's evolved ever since then, since you were starting in 2004. Like, but what's relevant today? Like, and I would say there's probably macro principles that are still like relevant from then.
Yeah.
That I don't think that they're really going to go away. But what's relevant today, since you are involved in, marketing services, SEO, things like
that? Probably that this entire time, it's always been about people and the visitors. The people. There's actual people behind the numbers in Google Analytics. In the beginning, when I first got started with SEO, I was really writing for Google. That was who I was trying to please. And had I been writing for people and just sort of like pleasing Google after the fact, meaning, writing something that people would really like and resonate with, and then sort of massage it so that Google could find it. If I had done that from the very beginning, I'd be much further along than I am now. I spent a lot of years really just kind of doing what at the time was normal, but it was today considered black hat or gray hat. And so
what does that mean?
I guess what it means is like not best practices, and the idea that like there were people behind the computer screens, and it's so hard, especially with all this technology, to kind of forget that. And I think that's why, for the most part, we are alone as a culture, because it's like, yeah, we're talking, me and you are talking right now, but you're not here.
No.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, I feel like there is a disconnect. And so when I was doing that kind of work, I was just writing into a vacuum.
Yeah.
And then there was a moment in probably 2008 or 2007 where a friend of mine was like, screw all this SEO stuff, man. Like that was when I think Penguin or one of the Google updates came out and just crushed my site, because I was.
What year?
I think it was 2007, because I was doing a lot of work that was, and here's the thing, at the time, it wasn't like I went out into the workplace going like, I'm going to try to screw the internet and get what's mine by doing these like black hat techniques. I was being trained on this through people who I still respect today. So it was like, they didn't even know at the time. It's just it's what everyone was doing, is how we were actually getting traffic. Things have changed so much since then, but had we been doing more, had we been writing for human beings, we would have been able to accomplish those same things just with a little bit of research. And so it wasn't until this one day when my friend was like, you're not writing for the search engines, you're writing for people. Now, search engines are going to find those things, but ultimately people are what's typing things into Google, and Google's just serving up what's relevant. And so if you use tools, keyword research tools specifically, and find out what human beings are searching for, and then write something that is so fucking good, then I don't mean like you can't just write something. You have to really try. I mean, and I know that's not good advice because it's like, it's not very actionable, but to be very specific, what I like to do with SEO is I go out and first I research what people are searching for. That's it. It's one word. And I go for big words. I'm not going for little micro words or these long tail keywords. If someone's searching for how to make coffee with a French press, like I'm looking for French press. Like I'm going after the big one, right? And so my goal with that specific article is to go, how can I make the best French press article? What does that entail? And so with all of the website design stuff on the side, because let's assume in this case that like we have a nice designed website, it loads very quickly, it's user friendly, it's good for the human beings. What's good for humans is good for Google now because Google's basically a human being. It's AI, right? So I would go and research like every single article I could possibly find on the internet about making French press coffee. And I would be taking copious amounts of notes on, okay, well, how are they organizing it? What are they talking about? What are the H2s and H3s, the category, the subcategories? What are they mentioning? What can I talk about that's slightly different? What do people really want to know? Let's survey some people. Let's go to our audience and say, what do you want to know? What are some questions you're having? And you compile, it's a research paper. You're compiling all this information. And then really the hardest part, like obviously anybody can do research. You have to do a lot of it. And then it's like taking all of that research and going, okay, how do I organize it? How do I make it read well? How do I keep people's attention? Because everyone nowadays is trying to do, well, I got 12,000 words. I got 15,000 words. Like, no, my shit's 20,000 words. Dude, no one gives a fuck about 20,000 words. Write a book. Get off the internet, please. We have no patience. And so I think what I try to do is take 12,000 words and make it 3,000 words, because you can take all the information that's in 12,000 words and get it done in half, if not more than half of the amount of time. And you can make it really funny, and you can punch it up, and you can add multimedia elements, which you can't do in a book. And so I try to take that idea and distill down. And so that when you see this piece, it's like, there is no other piece. This is the only piece. It has everything. It's covered every single piece. And so that always ranks. It just does. And I've never had a problem with, people saying that. I mean, I've never had a problem with ranking. And all I do is that research, the keyword part, and then the content part. And then I don't even fucking promote it, dude. I put it out on the internet and it goes. And it may take time because I don't promote it, but it always goes. And that's because I spend more time on the content than I do on the promotion, because that is where my value lies. Anybody can post shit on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube's, whatever. Not YouTube, probably Instagram or whatever. But really the hard part is actually creating the thing. And that goes for video too.
I think, it's a really good point is, I know I get caught in that trap just to produce, just produce,
Mm-hmm.
And, I could see the value in actually going that deep on something.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And figuring that out and everything else. Like,
but you don't have to be the one to do it. That's the thing. Like the thing that I've learned, I mean, look, I've been doing this for a long time. In the beginning, I was doing everything. Now I don't really do everything. I mean, I still have my place, but I don't have to go out and do keyword research anymore. I don't have to go out and do content research. I don't even have to write anymore, but I'm still doing videos because it's my face and it's my voice. I'm still doing podcasts because I am that entertainment factor there. But with writing, I've hired really good people to kind of take what I've done over the last 10 years and replicate that. And you have to look at it like, you have to do everything. Yes, it's going to suck. And that's like, if you're trying to bootstrap, then that's I mean, for sure. That's what I did. At a certain point though, you start to remove yourself from individual pieces. Not to say you have to hire a million different people to do all these things, but you just get somebody who can help you with that. And all of a sudden, that constant wheel of production doesn't burn you out, right? It doesn't become like, oh shit, I got to get a podcast out today. Oh my God, I have to get a video out today. Oh my God, this article needs to get published. Yeah, you'll do that if you're in charge of everything. And but if you have a system down or a system of it down, whatever you're into, you will get things done, and and you'll grow. And, it's just, and as a content creator myself, like I'm now, I guess, a YouTuber, if you want to call it that. Like I put videos on YouTube every week for swimming pool care. Dude, we got a system that's, it's tight, but I'm working an hour a month on YouTube videos.
So what does that look like? So one of the things that, I help when I'm working with business clients outside of their, two different areas, personal, like life coaching type of stuff, and then business. Because, dude, for me, the business is the fuel for the rest of it, is what feeds it. So, and we're probably on the same page with that. But what does that system look like? Because there's a couple of things that people are like scared to, actually hire. They have scarcity of time, scarcity around money. Yeah. And, there's all these blocks, and then the other thing I think is, especially when you get into creative spaces, they think they need to touch it, right? Yeah. The ads guy needs to go and touch it. He can't pass it off because it's so special. And, the graphic designer, this and that. And I'm like, I just automatically start breaking things up, that's how I naturally work. But, even in coaching, I came from a physical, CrossFit style coaching, and I can't let go of that. And I'm like, no, it's like you're bringing a bazooka to a knife fight, and there's no need for all that. So
true. But also you're not special.
Yeah.
Just practice some hubris or anti-hubris, whatever. The idea that like, I can make a rap video, right? I could do it soup to nuts. Does that make me the greatest rapper in the world? No. Does it make me the greatest beat producer in the world? No. I'm just a guy who can do it and make it not sound like shit. Yeah. Does that mean I can't hire somebody else to write lyrics for me? I'm like, yeah, 100% I can. I can hire another beat writer. I can hire all these people to do things. The question becomes like, should I even do it? And I think the processing thing came much later in my business. And I think that everyone has to go through their high school career before they hit college in any business. You have to go through 4 years of getting the shit kicked out of you and growing into your body and just trying to figure out like what it is where I belong, where do I do, what am I good at, what classes do I like, what teachers do I like. You go through this 4-year phase. And then at the end of 4 years, you start to just get more mature. This is all a metaphor for business. I'm not saying that this is.
Oh, absolutely.
Right. Okay.
The unknown, make the known unknown or whatever.
Yeah. So I'm not saying that day one, I'm sitting here, got a process in place. I got 4 people on my team. I'm doing all these things. That's not what happened. I started with 0 people and $0. And in fact, in order to make money, I had to actually go out and do client work while I was building my own thing. So I was doing 2 jobs at the same time, technically 3, because I had a day job, then I was doing website design, and I was trying to build some university at the same time. Granted, I didn't have any kids or a wife or anything, so I did have a lot of free time on my hands, but that was sort of by design. And so I think it comes with time, this idea of processing. But there was a moment 5 years ago, probably 6, where I sat there and I said out loud to my girlfriend, no one can write pool articles the way that I can. I thought in that moment, I'm special. I'm the only person in the whole world who can write funny how-to pool articles, because look, who else knows how to write, has a website, and also has been in the pool industry for 20 plus years. Where am I going to find that special person? I am that special person. And then she was like, you're not special. Anybody can do research, man. Like anybody can pull up Google and find out how to get rid of pool algae. You're not the only friggin' one. And so then I sat down and I kind of like let go. I was like, fine, I called a friend who knew a writer. I said, give me his email. I sent him a headline. I'm like, I need this article written. I'm not going to give you any direction. I just need to see what comes out. And what came out was something that wasn't my voice, wasn't something I would write, but it wasn't bad. It was good, in fact. And I was like, whoa, there are other people who don't own swimming pools and haven't been in the industry for 20 plus years who can write this stuff. Well, that really challenged me in my thought process, because I had to see it, and seeing is believing. And I was like, okay. And then slowly but surely, I kept passing him more work and having him write more articles until the point where we had it down. So we were using Asana at the time, and we had this process down where like I was basically had nothing to do, because I'm like, he's doing all this work, and I'm like, this is great. And it is as obviously has evolved from there. But the first thing you have to do is let go of the fact that you're not special. Yeah, you might be talented, and you might think that, and what you touch may actually be better than what the sum of all your teammates touch will turn into. But if that's true, if that's always true, measure that, because you could be, I could put out a video and go like, well, I put my hands in that video, so that's why it has 10 million views. And then I could do a video next week where I didn't touch it at all and it has 11 million views. So that right away, it's like, let's call your BS, because it's like, maybe it's not true. Or let other people have a shot. And also let other people grow into like it. You weren't born with this ability to make rap videos or to make videos or write articles about pool care. You weren't born with that. And neither is anybody you hire. They're not coming into this going like, yeah, I've been doing this 20 years. Like, move over, let me do this. You have to let them grow into it. And so that's why I usually don't hire, like, I don't outsource, in quotes. I don't like to hire people like robots. I want to hire people who, and it took time. Like, I can't afford it. It's not, it had to build over time. So I got somebody very, very part-time, and I worked with them. I talked to them, and they spoke my language, and we were figuring things out. And I turned to them and asked their advice. And instead of me just being a boss and going, you do X now, I said, what do you think we should do? Like, maybe you can find a better way. What the fuck do I know? And so that took so much time, right? But in that time, I've basically built this company where everybody who has ever worked with me still works for me. And it's a very collaborative space. It's all online. None of these people live near me, besides my editor. But yeah.
So there's a few things in there. Like, is like a lot of times, as a leader, you think, or you hire somebody, bring somebody on your team, and you think like you need to hover over, or you need to micromanage them, or you need to be involved.
Yeah.
And it's like a lot of times just step back. Like I had this amazing experience with like this transition where we were kind of producing content and I was helping out, and and then I was like, I'm just going to have all my teammates, like everybody on my team, produce one piece of content for me each week. And that was like 2012, 2013.
Yeah.
Like that was part of their weekly duties. It's like, write something, right?
Yep.
A lot of them were the coaches, but then I even had my office manager, because she was on her own journey speaking to somebody else. And like, how liberating, and like from a sense of just seeing other people rise, right?
Yeah.
And seeing the whole tide rise together because they're doing it.
Yeah.
And it's so amazing. And another time, like I was collaborating with a content creator, like a writer, to write one blog a week. And we kind of was like, let's just do these rules. And I just threw these like, let's do these like, that was when the huge like 22 this, 22 that, right? The list, the 22 things of doing X, Y, Z.
Right.
But it was for CrossFit, and it was like 22 rules of like in a CrossFit gym. And I was like, here's the rules. You just fill out the rest. And dude, it has like 150, 200,000 views.
Yeah.
Like, for a gym that was in Huntington Beach, California, that just got shared everywhere.
Yeah.
And like other content creators ripped off our rules and stuff like that. But it goes to show you that like it had nothing to do. You've got to allow yourself to step back And the only way in a leadership position to really allow the full boat to rise, or let the tides rise, is to step back and allow that to happen.
Step back and ask for opinions and permission. I don't, it's sort of like you're not, and the other thing, there's so many things to like hover over. Like one, I couldn't afford my first writer. He was part-time, 1 article a week, and he was in California, and I spoke to him. It's like I could talk to him, and I'm like, look, I can only do 1 a week. I'm honest. I'm like, but like, I promise you that if this works and we keep going and you keep working with me, like I can give you more work. Like I'm promising that to you. And so, and that was, I can only do that if I'm talking to somebody and saying like, look, I need help, and I can't really afford it, but I can afford 1 article a week or 1 article a month. Maybe you just work, like you do 2 articles, I'll do 2 articles. And so you're kind of splitting your time. So the idea that you can't afford it is false, because like your time is worth something. And so like, just give that money to somebody else for half the time, even, or a quarter of the time. And
yeah, and if this is a side hustle, I mean, it sounds like what you did is you worked other places and then funded this back. I mean, that is an amazing strategy. I mean, go find a way to fund it, know?
Or you take what you do the first, like, however many months it takes you to get to a spot where you're making money, and then you use that money to funnel back into the business to pay the next person. Yes, it may be many years. It was many years before I literally took a paycheck. But that's how you grow a business if you're just bootstrapping. Obviously, if you're not bootstrapping, there's different ways of doing it. But the thing about like the hiring people, and not to say that you have to do that day one, because I certainly didn't, but I think it's just letting go of the fact that you're not special, and I'm just a guy who just has a good work ethic. I do.
Yeah.
So I'm like, hey, and I enjoy what I do. And I want to build a business, and I want to make money on my own. I don't want a boss. And so those were the things that drove me to doing this stuff, but I'm not special. I might have quality control. If there's anything that I will touch, in heavy air quotes there, it would be just being the filter that everything passes through. I don't need to block it. I just need to filter it. And that's quality control. That's just making sure that the products that are going out the door, whether they're blog posts, actual products, or, videos, I get to see them and go, hey, I and just maybe give direction if things are not up to par. And then not only am I giving direction, I am setting the standard for the next time we do the video. I have to go in and update a document and make that canon so that next time it passes through me, I don't have to say anything, because look, we've made it canon. We know that this is working. And that's so hard, because it's as a person who makes content, you have to wear 2 hats. You have to be the person who makes the content, and then you have to be the person who is the CEO who decide, like, you kind of have to look at it from a more holistic perspective every once in a while to make sure that the process is smooth. Sometimes you can be putting doors on a car on the factory floor, but then sometimes you got to get up to the top and look at the whole factory and go, what that guy's doing is holding things up. Let's go fix that.
Yeah.
You fix that, and then you step back and look at it again, and you just keep greasing the wheels more and more.
Yeah. The other thing you said earlier was about how you brought somebody on. 2 things to that. Like, I call it like a fractional team, right? You can literally, I use the revenue you're generating to start outsourcing or bring on team members in a fractional role.
Yeah.
So you can have a team, right? The other thing is that you said you didn't just bring them on and was like, there you go. And
no.
I've actually seen that, like, talking with an agency owner. I was like, listen to his problems. I'm like, you probably need a project manager. So he goes out and hires a project manager.
That doesn't work. I've done that.
Well, I think it was the right role, but he didn't take the time to, like, okay, let's see if you could just do one thing, right?
Right.
Let's get you good at this one thing, and then let's get you good at the next thing, right?
Yep.
And it takes that coaching and training, because, like, you got to realize, like, you hire somebody and they're not exact fit. You're not a big CEO or big Fortune 500 company. You don't hire like a business development manager and they just hit the ball, run it.
No.
They know what to do. Where you're in a small business, you've got to take, like, you really got to take raw material in the sense and form that raw material into what you need, right?
Yeah, well, somebody has to define what the role is. And if you're just a person, if you're just a guy or a girl who's starting a business, you are the project manager. That's what you do. So what you have to do in that moment is go, yes, it's being like self-aware, like business self-aware. It's like, I know that I'm the project manager. What do I do every day? What's my process? Even if it's all in my head, I better write it down because because just knowing that in the future, one day someone's going to take over this job, even if they never do, because there are things that I do in my business that I have written down. I have SOPs for myself. I plan on never hiring another person to sit in front of the camera or to be on my podcast, like to be me as the host. But I have those things written down in case one day I'm like, you know what, I'm done. Anybody can host a show. Here you go. Here's the paperwork. Get in. Here's 500 episodes. That's your homework before you get this job, right?
Yeah.
And I always, and that's what I'm doing with video right now, where I did every single piece of it. I did everything, and I had to learn it. I had to learn, video editing, After Effects, script writing, audio stuff. I had to learn all of it just so I knew that when I hired somebody and I heard their work or I saw their work, that it was up to my standards, at least that is best that I could do. And I wrote every single piece down. Every decision that I made, I wrote down because I'm like, I don't know, And so even when I talk to my editor right now, my video editor, I don't give direction. I don't say, oh, put this here or do this here or edit this 2 seconds earlier. I try to give overall direction. And then if I give something that is specific, I write down that decision that like, oh, this is the kind of thing. Every time, we show this on the screen, we make this sound effect. Or every time I keep telling him to make it punchier. What do I mean by punchier? What does that actually look like tactically? And so I will go through and do that work myself and go, okay, I understand now what I am trying to get out of myself, write it down and go, here's what I mean. And then you're just greasing these wheels that make things easier. Plus I hired an editor. I'm asking him his not permission. Sometimes my website editor, I ask permission. I'm not allowed to touch WordPress. I'm like, can I go in and do this? It's my own website. Can I go in and do that? She's like, yeah, you can do that. Okay. Because I don't want to step on her toes. It's kind of her world. But my video editor, it's like I'm trying to not give very specific direction. I'm giving overall direction. What do you think about this? What if we tried this? Instead of saying do X, what if we? It's always a question. Because then there's a response, right? And maybe, just maybe, and that's actually happened a lot. What if they have a better idea? Because if I say, if I just give a direction, they can't have an idea. If I say, what if this? And they go, yeah, but what if that? I'm like, oh, fuck, that's way better.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what, going back to You're Not Special, if you've hired somebody that's a specific editor, right? And maybe you're good, but that's what they're there for.
Yeah, and maybe they're not as good as you, but they'll become, you have to work with them. Yeah. And then there are some people, and I will say this, there are bad fits. That is true. I've hired my fair share. And lessons learned from those experiences, but I gave them their fair shot. I give everybody about 6 months before I'm like, oof, all right, it just feels like I just can't break through as much as I'm trying. And maybe it's me, maybe it's Maybelline, maybe it's them. I don't know. So I take full responsibility for my business because I am the business owner, and it is my job to make sure that everybody's happy. It's my job to make sure that everyone is heard. It's my job to make sure everybody has their own ideas. And at the end of the day, we all have the same job. We all want the same thing, which is to produce content, get traffic, make sales. That's it. Otherwise none of us get paid.
For sure. Well, let's transition a little bit to, like what are you like out, who are you looking for? What clients you looking for? What are you working towards right now?
Right now. So in the beginning of 2019, I made this conscious decision that I wanted less stress in my life. And I wouldn't call myself a stressed out person before. I don't handle stress very well. I've had anxiety. I have anxiety. It's very well managed, but I just really wanted my business to be more fun, and I had to say that out loud in the beginning of the year. And and one of the things that makes me really comfortable is that I just do what I do and I do it the best that I can. Because when you're an entrepreneur, kind of the sky's the limit, right? And when you can do everything, you forget to ask yourself if you should do everything. And obviously everything is an opportunity. And when you're an entrepreneur, they come more frequently because you're constantly thinking about it. I have a pool website. Should I be doing lead gen? Hell yeah, I should be doing lead gen. You know how much money we'd make it if we were doing lead gen? Okay, well, what do we have to do? All right, well, I have to hire a software developer to develop this lead gen software, and here's what I want. And then like, meanwhile, what got you here in the first place? You didn't do that. And I may do that one day, but I haven't honed in the thing that we are very, very good at. And so in the beginning of the year, I sat down and I was like, what does my business do? And not like, what do we do? Like, we do this, we do that, we do this. No, what is the one thing that we do? And yes, anybody can say make money, but that's the byproduct of what you do. And so I came down to, we make digital. We do digital publishing, but like we build informational multimedia products. That's it. And those products can be blog posts, they can be articles, they can be videos, they can be courses, but they have to be digital, they have to be informational, and they have to be entertaining. And so the question becomes, well, do we do software? No. And we might have software to deliver those products, but we don't make and sell it because that would make us a SaaS company. And it's like, oh, well, are we a drop shipping company? No, because then it means we're in customer service and we're doing products, actual physical products. We're a digital company. And so like, once I kind of figured out what our company did, I said no to all these other things. And so I cleared the way, and I'm like, here's what we do. We do it really, really well. And let's just master that. So I got rid of a lot of people at this time because there was a lot to manage. And we kind of like went down to the essential people. And we just really pushed this idea that like, let's pump out the jams. Let's make a lot of product, and let's make a lot of good product. And that has grown our traffic significantly. And the products that we actually sell to earn a profit on are digital as well. And we worked really hard on those. And so if we just keep doing that, that's what our company does. You make money as a byproduct of those things. No one prints money. They make a shoe, and then that shoe is sold to somebody who needs a shoe, and then money is the byproduct of that shoe, right? So you got really good at making shoes and making shoes that people want. And that requires research. So there's research and development, there's production, and then there's marketing, right? There's the actual promotion of that thing. And I just want to get really good. Right now, I'm kind of really good at the first two. And then once the first two are just like, I just don't feel that they're 100% there yet. And again, I've back and forth. This is the problem with being an entrepreneur who works solely for himself and only has himself to rely on and blame, is that I've done so many of these I've chased so many shiny objects that like just now I'm getting to the point where I'm like, okay, let's master the 3-part process of what we do. I'm mastering the first two. And then the third one, which is the marketing promotion, we don't have an engine there yet. We don't have like a schedule there yet. And that's the third piece of it all. And so once we master the first two, which should be another year, then the third one's going to come in, and that's hopefully a skyrocketing event, but we'll see. So yeah, I just think it's, and what's so great about that idea is that like I can say no to so many things. I fucking love saying no. It's so great. I hate it, but when I do, I'm like, thank God I didn't do that. That would have been terrible, because I've said yes to pretty much every opportunity that's come across my desk. And now I'm like, I hate saying no, but when I always love the idea that like when I do say no, I always feel so much better, because I just get to focus on like making videos, making articles, making a fast website, delivering quality products to the people who need them the most, which is our customers. That's it.
Yeah. And I mean, it goes back to, chasing the money, right? Versus actually staying within this. And you see a lot of like young entrepreneurs or people trying to break from their job into some type of this lifestyle. They think multiple streams of income, they think all this other stuff. And even inside your business, like, I mean, there's so many. Up until 2012, like we were 4 years into business and we only offered one technical core service that wasn't really a drain. And then we had micro services along that would be a challenge or something like that. And then it was 13, then we launched a couple more things.
Right.
And you don't understand, the amount of bandwidth it takes upon to get that done. Like, you want to create that, like, you want to create that predictability. I mean, that's one thing in running a business, you need predictability. That's why you're doing your SOPs and keeping yourself accountable in the inside of those.
Yeah.
It's a cadence. Like, it's like a good song, right? Running a business. I was trying to word this in a way in a post and I never got through it, but it was like, running a business is like a good song, right? There's a predictability to it. There's rhythm to it. You can remember it. Like, on a Monday morning, what happens, on a Tuesday morning, what happens at what time, like it's just it's a nice tempo and rhythm to the how everything happens. So yeah.
And there's some unexpected surprises too. There's some weird bridges that we weren't expecting, there's some it's that yes, but I agree that, it's, some people think it's less fun, to have like a predictable business. I don't know who thinks that's fun. I guess, I mean, daredevils, entrepreneurs tend to be risky and they want to take all these risks. I did that, I feel like, but at this point, I really just want things to be predictable. I want things to be sustainable. I want to produce as much possible content as I can that is still high quality. And that means having processes in place, because otherwise you're not going to be you can't do everything yourself. I mean, you look at all these YouTubers that are burning out because they're doing everything themselves.
Yeah. I mean, they would just treat it like a business instead of like, I've got to do everything and I've got to hustle. And
well,
go get a video editor and like get your life back.
Well, they're all, I mean, that's the thing too. They all think they're special. So if they don't think they're special, then they can hire some additional help. And I think like, you can, I mean, look, you're always going to think that your edit's better than your editor. You're always going to think that. Unless you're not an editor, but if if you've been YouTubing for a long time or you've been writing articles for a long time, you're always going to think your stuff is better. And that may even be true. But because you are the person, you are always going to think it's better. So therefore, like, you are getting in your own way if you don't let others like produce content for you 1000%. And with you. So and that's the thing, like, that's what I do. That's the kind of marketing that I do. It's putting out really good stuff. And I'm not saying it's perfect. I'm not saying it's great. I'm saying it's really good. And it's got that little bit of extra thing that I can spin on it, which is, I know it looks good. I know it sounds good. I have taste. And so I try to bake that into my business, and I try to like turn that into an SOP, because it's hard to like take taste and really like make format it. But I've tried to do that, and I think I've done it successfully. I've also hired people who have similar taste to me, and that's important too. That's how I hired my first real full-time team member was and I asked a bunch of people, but she was a clear winner of this idea that, like, what do we have in common as people? Not, can you do the job? Anybody can do a job, right? Anybody can be taught anything. But do we have the same sense of taste? Do we have the same sense of humor? Do we think the same things are good in life? And if we do, then we can find a lot of common ground on how to educate each other to make something better together, instead of me going like, well, I am the tastemaker, I think this thing is great. That's not collaborative. That's really just ego, and it needs to be put aside. And that's kind of what I've done this year. And I've literally had the best year of my life, not just emotionally, but monetarily as well, because I've kind of like cleared all the space and just focused on the things that we do and the money that we make, and tried to increase that by doing those jobs better, because I have more bandwidth to focus on those things.
Yeah. Awesome. Going deep.
Yeah. It depends. It depends on where you go. If you're just you're just having a conversation, like, and I haven't drank today, so this is pure me.
Nice. Well, awesome. Well, if people want to get a hold of you,
yeah. So I probably did a bad job of promoting, but if you want to learn more about me and like just entrepreneurial things in general, online business stuff, moneylab.co. I also have a podcast, which is similar. We have conversations about specific topics. And I have if you were an affiliate marketer, which I mentioned earlier, that's where I make a majority of my income between affiliate marketing and digital products. I've built a plugin with a friend, so it's a separate company. And it's called getlasso.co, and it's for WordPress websites. And it is just kind of like an advanced affiliate marketing plugin that'll help you organize all your affiliate links in one place, and it'll help you make more money with your affiliate links by helping you add more affiliate links and add more affiliate links that convert with display boxes. And basically if you ever heard of a site called Wirecutter, it's like probably the most popular affiliate website on the planet, the most popular authority site. We're trying to turn every website that we touch into a site as good as Wirecutter, and to create stuff that's really rich affiliate links.
Okay. Awesome. And how do we get it? Anywhere you're on Twitter, you're not on Facebook or Instagram?
Yeah, I'm on Twitter. I mean, I spend most of my time the best place to find me is moneylab.co. That's kind of like my home base. It's where I do, it's where I write, I film videos. I'm doing challenges. If you're interested in the show, trust me, you'll like Money Lab.
Cool. Yeah. We'll link that up and get that all set up.
Sweet.
I appreciate it, man.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Yeah, for sure. And I'll talk to you soon.
See you. Awesome.
All right. Later.
Later.